benefits. As I said, minimizes interference in your plans from whatever source, synchronizes and harmonizes the energy of your home with the rest of your community and with the time that you're operating in. What you'll find when you live in balanced space is when the energies start to shift around the time of the solstice, around the time of the winter solstice, you might find things start to go out of balance, which needs to be the time that you start looking at what will be the Sha Qi area next year. Next year it will be the east. And basically, you're here now, this is your home planet, and I'm going to take questions because I've finished way, way before time. I wanted to try and keep this very, very simple. So, any questions, please ask.
Could you just explain about finding the centre in irregular shapes?
In the regular shapes? Irregular shapes. Great. Okay, let's go back. This one. Okay. I suggest, first of all, if you've got a really irregular shape, what you try and do is get an accurate a plan as possible. Just pace it out. You don't have to measure it. Just pace it, first of all. And then look for the most obvious rectangles within that shape. You might have a building that had another rectangle over here. That's definitely quite possible. When you look at your shape, also I would point out, be aware it's the shape that you pay your money for. In other words, if there's something over here that you don't pay for and that's not yours and you're not legally responsible for, not your problem. Okay? Not your problem. If that belongs to someone else, forget it. Divide it up as you can, and with each of those small rectangles or squares, find the centres. Then join up the centres. Find the centre points between them, and then join those up and find the centre again. So it's an easy way of doing it. I mean, people can get very complex about this, but nearly always doing it this way will get you more or less right. Any other questions?
On the question of shapes again, if it were the shape you just described with the rectangle
Coming out this side over here.
yeah, and it did belong to you,
Yeah.
would you then not count that as a separate one, but would you then treat that middle rectangle as a large one?
You could do it that way, yes. Right. There are a number of ways you can do it. Nearly always what you want to do is to get it into as few shapes as possible because it's easier to actually work it. You find the easiest way of doing it. And sometimes if you're being precise with this, you can go, all right, I'll do it the other way as well and see if it's different. And sometimes it may be a little bit different, but usually it's pretty close. You're pretty much spot on.
I have a quite big mirror on the wall of southwest at the moment. And in front of it, I've got lots of plants. Does that mean that's okay?
Well, the thing is, what you want to do, this is about what happens in reality, is if you're happy with the way everything is going in your life, that's fine. Putting plants in front of a mirror that's actually fixed, if you really don't want to take it down, is one of the solutions. I have to say, when people talk to me about 6 figures of money, which is what most lawsuits are and what most house sales are, I go, if it was mine, I would take it down with my bare hands, right? Because I have experience of this. Let me tell you what happens when you don't do this or you get it wrong and you have a mirror up in the Sha Qi area. Because I come from a very clinical background, right? So I look at things and I don't go always, well, it's supposed to be this way. I go, well, what is it? What's happening? How is it, right? If you put a mirror up in the Sha Qi area, and then or you have one up, and then you decide you don't want to take it down. You don't want to put plants in front of it. Hey, what else can I do? that's cheap and easy, guess what? I'll cover it. This is one of the worst things you can possibly do, and I'll tell you why. Because when you do that, what will happen is the energy will come anyway. Only the problem is, because you've covered the mirror, you won't see it. Now, I don't know about you, but if I've got something coming towards me that I don't like, I'd rather have it right in my line of sight. I'd rather know exactly where it is, who it is, what it is. I don't want my head in the sand, because the head in the sand is the business that's dangerous. So again, what I say to my clients, if you have a mirror in the Sha Qi area and they're going, oh, well, I'll just cover it, I go, please don't do that. Put something green in front of it, put something gold in front of it, but whatever you do, please don't cover it. See what's really coming. Anything else? Any other questions? Sorry.
Oh, hi. You know there's different schools of Feng Shui, that's right, isn't it? And someone taught me the intuitive Feng Shui. So therefore my relationship sector would actually be in the west. So would the Sha Qi happen there, or do I actually, because you're saying I have to find the southwest by compass, whereas I was taught not to use the compass and to just put the magic square on the house.
Okay, this method is precise, right? If you get the compass angles wrong, this will not work. It doesn't matter what you believe, the sun, the moon, and the stars are in their positions and in their orbits, irrespective of what you think about it. So the point is, if you're going to do this, do it correctly with a compass and get it right. In other words, stand in the center, find out where the southwest is, and do that. The west, what I was showing for the other chart, was just the little monthly star, right? Now, the reason that I emphasize the year is because if you do something for a whole year, you've got 12 whole months of it. And if things aren't going right, that's a long time to put up with things. If you don't get the monthly star right, you're only dealing with it for a month. It's not the end of the world. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I just meant that I was taught not to use a compass, that you place the magic square, so the intuitive Feng Shui, you put the magic square on your home, so the far right would always be your relationship sector.
Yeah. Now,
so do you class that as your southwest sector?
No.
Doing it by the compass?
This is the point is, this is to do with time. What you're talking about placing this on the house, is to do with space, right? What I'm talking about is to do with time. So this is why. And the minute you talk about time, you're talking about movement. Things have to move. The sun has to move, the earth has to move, the planets have to move. Even the solar system is moving. It gets to the point we now have astronomers who can tell us that when our solar system is in the northern part of our galaxy, as it's been 62 to 64,000 years ago, we have extinction on this planet. They don't know why, they're just reading the records of time. So this is about time. What you were taught is correct. It's relating to space. And what I'm talking to you about now is relating to time. Yeah? Anybody else? Anything else? No?
I'm really new to this, but you talk about using plants. Will you also use crystals instead of plants?
Okay, think of what we're talking about here is energy, right? Plant energy is is one of the 5 element types. Crystal energy, are you talking about a prismatic crystal that throws light, or are you talking about an earth crystal?
Probably earth crystal.
If you're talking about an earth crystal, it's what kind of crystal? If you're talking clear quartz crystal, clear quartz acts as a transmitter and a receiver. I wouldn't really be wanting to put that in the Sha Qi area, because it's extremely powerful. If you have another kind of crystal in there with a different kind of vibration, will be different.
They normally say amethyst is good for clearance.
Amethyst is good for clearing. There are all sorts of other, jasper's good. There are all sorts of things that are fine. I just wouldn't put a clear crystal in the southwest. Anybody else? No?
They say with Tai Chi, you should avoid activity in that area. Is that true? For instance, where the Tai Chi, the Sha Chi is, you should avoid activity. What if it happens to be on your front door? There's a lot of activity going on in there. So how would you counteract that?
What, you've got 5 falls in around your front door?
So tie to the Sha Chi that comes from the
Yes,
front door.
okay.
Yeah.
Possible solutions. Plants on either side of the front door, yeah? You can paint your front door green if you want to, if that's appropriate. You make sure you don't have mirrors inside the entrance. You basically, you keep it, I would, if it was my front door, I would be going green and plant energy because I would want to kill the Shah and maybe some metal to drain it.
So door wall.
Yeah, that's all fine. Yeah, it's all good.
When you say metal, what do you understand under metal, draining your sanity in this context?
Okay. What we're talking, I have to say where I'm coming from with this, because I'm also an acupuncturist. And for me, what I've found to be true is a lot of the rules of Feng Shui are the same as rules of acupuncture, but applied to a space rather than applied to a human being. There's a 5-element chart which is called the creative cycle. So basically, earth energy is fed by fire. This is why you see on the changes for the year, you take red objects out of the Sha Qi area because you're trying not to feed this earth energy, which is Sha. If the Sha Qi is a type of earth energy, you want to drain it by emphasizing the next element along, which is metal. That then flows into water, which then flows into wood. Now there's another cycle, which then again flows into fire. There's another cycle, the destructive cycle, the co-cycle, and on that cycle, plant energy controls earth. So you effectively kill it.
That is, I think it's very well known to most of us. But my question was about giving specific example of a metal something.
A metal cure. Okay.
Yes.
A metal cure.
For example, you mentioned the metal wind chime.
Yep. Okay. Here we go. This is a metal cure. Right? This would be a metal cure. You know, in Islamic art, they have a lot of metal trays that you see. You can put those sort of things up. Also, they're round shapes, even better, round and metal. And especially what you want, round metal and pregnant shaped, a wok. You hang a wok up on the wall. A lot of things you can find in your home that you don't actually have to go and spend money on. You've already got.
Yes, a wok is.
Yeah, a wok is,
a good idea.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.